Hey, Rob from Carpentry Fishing TV here. Today we're going to be talking about pop-ups, wafters, and a little bit about bottom baits as well. I'm going to go through what pop-ups I use on a regular basis, depending on time of the year, what ones I've actually caught with. I've got some that I haven't caught with as well. I'm going to go through the attractors and the additives that I add to them to give them off more attractants, if that's the right word, to the fish. Also going to be showing you some examples and demonstrations of wafters, pop-ups and bottom baits in water. So pop-ups, come in different kind of sizes. I generally use 15mm, 14mm, but I do come in 20s and possibly bigger. Also come in smaller, as well, like 10s and 12mm. Basically, pop-ups are made from buoyant mix known as an air ball, with other ingredients as well. They're moulded around corks sometimes as well, then boiled to obviously make them buoyant. Wafters, kind of the same. They're kind of the same sort of buoyancy. The buoyancy in between a hook bait, a buoyancy in between a pop-up and a normal bottom bait, sort of in between. So it sinks slowly with the weight of the hook to critically balance the wafter, which makes it waft in the water pretty much. That's why they're called wafters. I've used a few in my time, had a little bit of luck on them. I'm more of a pop-up man, to be honest with you, but I'm going to give wafters a try this season as well, so I'm going to go through a bit about them. These are made with cork dust as well, different ground baits, plus other ingredients to make them buoyant again. Also going to be going through today sort of how long your pop-ups will last in your tub or your pots, depending on how much goo or attractants you put on them, what you should do, how it should be applied, the effects in the buoyancy, little bits and bobs like that. I'm doing a little demonstration as well of a pop-up in water, a wafter in water, and a bottom bait in water, and my top 5 pop-ups and why. Examples of pop-ups that have been gooed up for a certain amount of time and how much seepage come out of them, how much of this goo and attractant is infused into the pop-up. I'm going to show you that by splitting one in half or a couple in half, just to show you what I kind of do to my bottom baits, really, my pop-ups and my wafters. Right, so first things first, got the cameras on. This is kind of my top 5 pop-ups throughout the season. Got the salty squid, 15mm pop-ups, obviously like it says on the tin, salty squid. I don't generally do a lot to them, just keep them how they are. They seem to be pretty good how they are. One for winter definitely is a citrus. Now this is a 15mm Nash citrus pink pop-up. I also do an additive of dynamite citrus oil as well. I tend to do that, squirt a fair bit on, shake them up. When I first apply it, every couple of hours I add a little bit more, shake it up a bit more, just to keep it even, just keep them all even so they get the same amount roughly of citrus oil inside them. So next one, my trusty favourite, pineapple, 50mm mainline pop-up. Pineapple goo, it smells absolutely gorgeous, really good for spinner rigs. I'm a firm believer in, don't matter what water you're fishing on, pineapple, they just seem to love it. I mean, there are different techniques and different ways of fishing on different lakes. They get tuned, certain carp get tuned into different things, different baits in different lakes. But I always seem to have luck on pineapple. It's like the old faithful. So that's another one, another good one. A new one that I caught my last carp on was mainline the link wafters. Now I've soaked them in garlic smoke. They smell disgusting, but the fish must like them. Again, garlic smoke. There we go. Difference between the goos is the smoke you put on your on like your PVA bags or your pop-up before you cast out as an attractant. And the Supreme is an example of the Supreme. Isotonic Supreme is what you add to your pop-ups or your stick mixes or your ground bait mix. Yeah, so yeah, that's the wafters. Really good. I'll be taking them with me on my next trip. And my number one is the white pop-ups. These ones, just for example, are 16mm white chocolate sticky baits. And I've added almond smoke to these. Like I say, you're supposed to add Supreme, but I've had luck just putting almond smoke on them the last couple of weeks, shaking them up to get the same sort of layer on them as such. Yeah, I love them ones. Pinks, whites and yellows you can't really go wrong with, to be honest with you. I always tend to use sticky krill bait as sort of main boilie sort of manufacturer, as a mainstream one, but also Solid Baits is my local one, which I use a lot of his ground bait in my fishing. Right, so let's have a look at these pop-ups and wafters and ground baits. Okay, this one in the tub is the IB mainline. Sorry about dog. Get away. 15mm. That's basically how a pop-up should sit, and that one on this occasion is on a spinner rig, stiff boom. A lot of attractant coming out of that one. Lovely. That is your normal hair rig on just a normal bottom bait 15mm sticky krill boilie. Just sits at the bottom, obviously. Now these are your wafters. These ones, for this example, Vortex wafters, sticky krill again. And they just kind of sit in between a bottom bait and a pop-up. Critically balanced, as they say. Now you can add kind of goos to them, attractants to them as well, and over time they will affect the buoyancy. For example, just pick up these. I'll tell you what, these ones here. If I was to put, a good portion of goo onto those and not shake it about every so often or every couple of hours when I first apply it, or once a day for a couple of weeks, all them pop-ups right at the bottom will obviously get in more soaking in than the ones at the top. So you kind of have to be quite strict with yourself to get it all around. Make sure they're all getting the same amount on them as well. We'll give you an example of one of these pineapples. Pop up really well. If you see closely, all that seepage coming off of there, all that goo, all that attractant, that's infused in there. Nice. So that'll be leaking out at a nice rate when you're on the bank. I was going to show you these pop-ups. Sorry about my camera work, it's not great, I know. These pop-ups, these are the IB, what have I got in here? Got a little bit of everything in here. Got some high-vis ones, I've got some IB essential cell in there. There's also some yellow 15mm sticky pop-ups, a couple of wafters. There's actually a bit of everything in there. So they're soaked in some isotonic Supreme for the last couple of weeks now. So I'm going to get one out, show you roughly. I'll spin that over, should have bought a table. What I mean. Brilliant. There it goes well on camera. Right, you can see there that one was a pink one. Look at all the Isotonic Supreme infusion that has happened in there. That's nice. See, that will leak out for ages now. So that's kind of how you prepare, or how I prepare pop-ups. Other people might do it in different ways, but that's how I do mine. There's lots and lots of different attractors and goos on the market that you can try. I personally I love the almond. It's one of my favourites. Yeah, that's really nice. And the isotonic gets good results everywhere. You've obviously got your sprays that you can use before you cast out. That was bloodworm, for example, krill, and craft catcher. That's pretty good. There's others, another pineapple one there. Right, so what we're going to do now, one-handed, because I didn't come prepared to the table. You can get these little pots, these pop-up pots, which come with an inner tray. I'm sure a lot of people know about these. See the lid and the pot itself. Let's get rid of that in a minute. Now the whole point in these are, you put some pop-ups. So what we're going to do with these ones, we're going to do these white, sticky white ones, just fresh sticky white ones there. And obviously I won't fill it up all the way, probably about another 5 or 6 in there would be enough. So let's take some Isotonic Supreme. Do give him an alright coating. Good on. Again, sorry about my camera work. I did say these videos are going to be amateur and raw. Right, so they're in there now. Give them a good shake. There's only a few in there at the minute, so it's just for the video. But what that inner tray will do, what that inner tray does is obviously it seeps through right to the bottom. There. So then you get an equal amount of infusion. So there's not a load or goo or attractor sitting at the bottom soaking into the pop-ups right at the bottom and not touching the ones in the middle or at the top. They've all had an equal amount of coverage. So every so often, like I say, a couple of hours on the day that you do it, and a few times during the week, just come in your shed or wherever you sit your bait and give them a check over and a shake. Because if we're in the normal pots that people buy, I mean I buy them as well. That's an example, just some bottom baits soaked up. So they're just sitting there like that all the time. What ones do you think are going to get the most soaking? Ones at the bottom, don't shake them up. Now, that leads me on to the buoyancy. The ones at the bottom there, your normal little pots that people put them in, they're not going to be as buoyant as the ones at the top. Okay, the ones at the top are going to be more buoyant. So there's some pineapple ones that are prepared. Just put a little bit of pineapple Supreme in there. And they've got the same sort of coverage because I've been shaking them out as much. So you get the kind of gist of it, but these little pots do help in that. So yeah, it's probably got way too many, but what I'd kind of do is get some information on different lakes from obviously people that have been there, bailiffs, online, little forums, fishery owners, etc., about what sort of hook baits, what sort of bait the carp get fed on in there. Take their advice. I wouldn't take all of the pop-ups, bloody hell, it'd be an absolute nightmare. But this fishery that I'm fishing on in a couple of weeks with a good mate of mine is known for its dark baits. Not a lot, like for example, it doesn't really like spodding, doesn't react to spodding, it kills people's swims. So baiting like little PVA bags, PVA mesh bags, dark baits. So for example, I would take these krill cork dust pop-ups, for example. Got some sticky krill pop-ups and wafters, 50mm pop-ups and wafters coming as well, which I'm gonna might put a bit of a goo on them. I might have a couple of separate pots with different goos on them, but mainly sort of dark baits. You know, I'll be taking the sticky krill glug, the bloodworm spray, just to this particular lake that I've been told that reacts to that kind of thing. But that's other lakes react really well to bright hook baits. A certain time of the year they react to bright hook baits, pinks, yellows. You know, just do a bit of research on the water that you're fishing in. You can't really go wrong. But overall, take what you're confident in. Take what you've fished with before, caught with before, because otherwise it just becomes too complicated. You know, it becomes, you know, an absolute nightmare where you just get overrun with pop-ups, like myself a bit. But the small amount I've got, I can pick and choose from different waters that I'm fishing. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Sorry I haven't done a video in a while. It's been busy. Obviously COVID happened, but now we can get out there again and catch some carp again. See you later. Hope this helps.